What up, fams? I'm Frank, and I'm too big to fake it.
And I'm Neum, and I'm ready to send it all day, every day.
Welcome to Faith and Flamez, where we talk story,
Share insights that no one asked for,
and as always,
eat some tasty food. Oh, yeah.
Man, I love this, cuz.
All right, cuz, it's that time again. We're going to be talking about the leftovers from last week.
Well, it's safe to say, cuz, there was absolutely no leftovers with regard to the lamb, man, because that lamb was spot on. I just loved the pure taste. Did you enjoy the lamb?
I had the salt with me, cuz, ready to, put it all on and grab some pepper as well. But tasting that wood smoke right through that lamb.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was a beaut.
That Weber's far out. What a beautiful thing. Hey, what a beautiful tool that is.
Thank you, Weber.
Thank you, Weber, for sponsoring. Thinking about our topic that we spoke about last week too, cuz, with regards to those people who are doing, random acts of kindness in the service. I'll share real quick, cuz I remember last week, I was talking about allowing other people, that blessing of serving. It was awesome to just receive the random acts of kindness, and when you're looking for them, man, you don't realize how many people are doing such beautiful, nice things, eh? And so I just want to, make a shout out. Thank you so much to all of those who served and gave service to me. It was different not being having my service ready to, hand back to them, and just accepting it. What about you, cuz? Any reflections on our topic last week?
Something that I saw was how many people go out of their ways to do really kind things that just make me smile. One of them was, we had our youth at church. I hadn't seen a few of them in a while, and they coming up to say hello. And I'm an old fella.
Yeah.
You want to mix and mingle with your friends, but they took that time out to say, "Hey, Neum, how's it going?" and actually interact. And those interactions, well, it's a little bit of time. Yeah, that put a smile on my dial.
What a cool thing.
Yeah, kind of going in line with what you were saying, cuz, is that usually I'm trying to do that.
Yeah.
But to be able to allow it to come in to me, I was like, oh no, yeah, this is pretty cool.
One thing I really want to pick up on what you said is the allowing to come into me. Just wanting to know, cuz I'm finished with these leftovers. But what is on the menu today, cuz?
We're usually quantity and quality over just quality. As we know, this past week has been Holy Week.
Yeah.
We're going to have hot cross buns. We're also going to have toasted, which is a bit harder.
Yes.
And soft, melted in the microwave ones. So there's going to be two different textures.
Are we having butter with our hot cross buns?
We're having butter the size of cheese.
Oh, yes. So we're having hot cross buns with our butter.
Yeah.
All right then, cuz. Man, hot cross bun sounds amazing. We should probably go and select the ones that we're going to eat today, eh?
Yep.
And then we'll come, chuck it on the bench, and we'll go from there.
Cool. Let's do it, cuz.
Steam on the window, spice in the air. Frank watching timers, Neum in the chair, laughing at burn pits, butter on their hands. Talking about the old days when walls were made of plans. Used to hold it all so tight, lock every feeling inside. But something about these simple nights.
Oh, cuz.
Yes.
Man, those hot cross buns. Oh, man. They look good, eh? They look good.
Not bad at all. There's some crazy flavors.
Cuz I'm really interested in this fact. We've got toasted, and then we're going microwave. There's always a relation to what we're eating to what we're speaking about, cuz. So if you wouldn't mind, could you enlighten us with what our topic is this week?
This week, we're going to discuss the concept of having a hard head or a hardened heart versus being open-minded and having that softened heart to allow things to come in.
I love the relation between the two, like stubborn, eh? Would that fall under that?
Yeah, definitely.
Because that just reminds me sometimes, when you leave the air fryer on too long, and then you get your hot cross bun out and it's like a brick and it's like real stubborn, eh? It's like really hard to eat.
Yeah.
Unless you drown it in butter.
Yeah.
Hey, because then that softens it. Oh, cuz.
Oh, I love that.
Fire out. I love this.
We're definitely going to be discussing that concept, cuz.
Yeah.
We weren't, but because of the way you just put it, we are now. One way to look at it, cuz, is that we've got the premise of a rock versus a sponge. And so If you pour water onto a rock,
Yeah.
how much water does that rock absorb?
It's not going to absorb anything, eh?
Nothing at all. But when you take a sponge and you pour water over the sponge, doesn't matter how crusty it is,
Yeah.
pour water over it. Absolutely that one.
Yeah, it just absorbs it all,
Yeah.
and collects it.
That's kind of the premise of how we're going to break down these topics today.
I'm really looking forward to breaking it down, cutting it up. Just like how we're going to cut up these, hot crust buns.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, I was going to say half a block of butter, but we might as well use the whole thing.
Just send it all the way,
Hey,
kids.
why not? Why not? We're on calorie deficit. It's fine.
Oh,
This is our first meal for the day. It's going to be our last one too. But cuz, I'm excited for this.
Yeah, man.
Hey, what do you reckon? Is that us, cuz?
Ooh, yeah. Cook it up.
Let's go.
Pass the plate, pass the love. Hot cross buns and opening up. We were stubborn, now we're learning how to let each other in. Crumbs on the table, hearts on our sleeves. Stories rising like the heat. Yeah, we're breaking open like warm buns and open heart.
Oh, cuz, man. When you slice it up and it's that, smell of cinnamon. There's, spices that you can smell.
Yeah, those spices are.
Yeah, just cutting it open and putting the butter on. Oh, man.
You put it on and it changes it.
Changing your state, eh? Like, it was, crumpled hard, and then you put the butter on and it's like, oh.
That's a really good way to lead into this discussion, because the first part that kind of want to break down is the toasted hot cross bun and kind of the hardness of it. Just grab it and you can hear it.
What's the sound it makes, cuz? When I closed my eyes when you were doing that, cuz, man, I could hear it. I could see it.
So with that, cuz, I guess let's talk about that stubborn part. That part where you're just kind of hard-headed to anything, or hard-hearted where you just don't want to let anything in.
Yeah.
Is there anything that comes to mind when I say that word, either stubborn, hard-headed, hard-heartedness, things like that?
Definitely. I think, because I've been going back and watching a few things on Netflix, and one of them was The Last Dance.
Oh, okay.
About Goat Jordan.
Yes, he is the GOAT.
And if you think otherwise, you're wrong. But in his early career, man, that dude was stubborn.
Yeah.
He was an incredible player, and he was the best player on the court
Yeah.
in the NBA. But he never had success. He couldn't trust others. And he was just that hard guy that just didn't know what to do other than win. And it was win at all cost.
Yeah.
Regardless of, you're my teammates, but I don't want to let you in almost,
Yeah.
Follow me, I'm going to win for us. You guys just help me with all of these other things, but leave the winning to me.
Yeah.
Man, to flip the script completely and go somewhere completely different. Iron Man. Hey, Tony Stark.
Oh, yes.
He's another one that, because I love my Marvel, my MCU, I'm a mad MCU fan. And, thinking about, Tony Stark, what a stubborn kind of a guy that dude was, billionaire, philanthropist, who just didn't need help from anyone else.
Yeah.
He had the answer to everything. And he could solve the world's problems. And, we saw movies where he tried to do that.
Yeah.
It's cool to watch stories like Michael Jordan, like Tony Stark, where, both fiction and non-fiction, examples of people who have hardened themselves, hardened their heart.
Often because of that stubbornness or hard-heartedness or bullheadedness, relationships kind of suffered.
Yeah, you're right.
You are the man, and that would work if it wasn't a team sport. It's all on you. For Tony and for Michael, in their mind, they have the plan that works.
Yeah.
And if everyone followed the plan, then they would succeed.
Yeah.
With that vibe, I guess nothing can come in. As we said with the water and the rock, no water can come in. It's all based on what they know and them as the singular, rather than tapping into a whole lot of people's experience.
Yeah.
It's that saying, if you know, you know. But if you don't know, how are you supposed to know if you're not looking?
Because, when you look at Tony Stark, for instance, you said that, he alienated himself to all the rest of the Avengers, eh?
Yep.
There were some, obviously, that agreed with him, but a huge part of them also disagreed with him. Same like with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan became that person where people were like, far out, he's really difficult to play with. He's not really boosting morale because he's taking pretty much everything and we're just coming along for the ride.
That can be quite heavy too.
When you're in that kind of a zone and you're thinking about winning all the time, or you want this particular goal, it's really easy to get caught up in making sure that you're doing things, and when you don't see other people doing the things that you're doing to get there, it's real easy to get into that mentality that, bro, these guys aren't in it to win it like me. The beauty of hindsight is you get to see, hey, there's not just your way to get to the victory. And I think that's the cool thing that you see with Michael Jordan. He didn't need to take his talents to South Beach and join a super team. He reflected.
Is there anything you've done a certain way always and it works, that's just it, but you've heard a different way of doing it?
For me, something that I was always stubborn about was there's nothing like being in the gym, banging and clanging the weights, smashing out some heavy stuff. That was the best thing for fitness, and I never worried about going for walks. For me, that was what I saw, and I had evidence that worked for me.
Yeah.
As you know, my car broke down, and I had to walk the kids to school. I dropped them off one day and I thought, I'm just going to go for a little bit longer of a walk. Yeah. And I was like, shucks, I feel really good. Like, it was like, it was different. I was like, wow. And like the stupid thing is I had seen evidence of people walking and, how it's benefited their health. You're a huge part of that, But I just thought it didn't apply to me because it's not the gym. Now I've been, walking every day 2 weeks I think I'm addicted to it, eh?
Let's go.
Had I not just been open to the idea of, maybe we'll just try it and see what happens, I wouldn't have been able to see the benefits and the blessings that have come from going for walks now.
That kind of highlights what it's like when you pour water on a rock. The water is actually the great ideas. The water are other people's experiences, but this rock is set in place. It is not moving and it's also absorbing nothing. You've shown that when you do open up, there's some amazing things that come from this water that hits the rock.
Yeah.
Like Mike, like Tony Stark, like a whole lot of us. We're not willing to let that in until some things happen where you're forced to, or where you finally click and go, okay, I'm ready to transition. Maybe not from a rock to a sponge, but a rock to something that can absorb a little bit of moisture.
Has there been any experiences where you've gone from being a rock to not exactly a sponge, but that transitional period from rock to sponge?
One thing that I'm doing right now is the 75 Hard Challenge, and I just started it. Part of the 75 Hard Challenge is choosing a diet to stick to. One of my favorite diets is Carnivore. Carnivore diet, bro, I absolutely love it. I love cooking meat, I love eating meat, I love talking about meats, I love buying meat, and I love the smell of meat. Everything really tracked well, and that was my evidence. A friend of mine keeps talking to me about is calorie deficit. So I was talking to some like full-on health professionals, one that's based on science, one that's based on evidence, and they were all saying the same things. I was like, okay, so my stubbornness comes from, no, but this works. Someone said the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. By that definition, I've been insane majority of my life. I wanted to try something new. I did the 75 Hard Challenge so many times last year and just absolutely smashed it. And then the day it finished, I smashed everything else. And so I was like, I need to try something different. That is across the board with me though. My way is best. My own perception of what a father should be, what a husband should be, what a son should be, what a man should be. Because it works. And if something works, it adds layers to my stubbornness. Here's an example. These hot cross buns, as you said, can fit within my calorie deficit. But because it's not within the carnivore diet, I look at it and go, no, you're evil. I cannot have you and we cannot be friends. But letting that go and allowing new habits to grow, I can actually have that. For now, that's what I'm focused on. A good friend of mine has taught me, though, that here in New Zealand, we often qualify the people. Unless you've got a degree, unless you're making quadrillion millions, unless you are actually the head of this and that, we're not going to listen to you.
Wow.
He was sharing, actually, if you qualify information, if it is actual information about the thing, it doesn't matter who it's coming from.
Yeah.
When I taught my son how to mow the lawn, I mow it a specific way.
Yeah.
And that's the best way, because I mow it that way. If it wasn't the best way, I wouldn't be doing it that way.
Yeah.
And he's like, Dad, you got to mow it like this. When I sat back and I watched how he mowed it, I looked at the time and I looked at how tidy it was and how tidy the end result was. Yeah, it was actually quite good.
Wow.
I know he doesn't watch this podcast, so he's not going to hear this.
But I guess that's always a humbling experience, when you're so used to doing something a certain way, and then you see someone doing it differently. You're like, yeah, I guess I'll give you credit for that. You know, it's funny. You move from I'll give you credit to that. Then when you try it yourself, you're like, fire out, man. This is how this is how I've always done it.
What's really cool, cuz, is how you brought in that word humble.
Yeah.
Going back to Michael, you were talking about him doing it this way, him doing it that way. Is that what he did?
I just know what it was, displayed on The Last Dance, and he realized that he needed to start using the people around him in order, to be the team. So he was an elite scorer, an elite defender, but then he started to become an elite passer of the ball, playmaker, the things that the team needed. Now understanding, if I want to win, I have to make sure that I'm like a sponge now, I'm allowing water to hit me so I can be, in places that I need to be for the team.
Yeah.
Look at Tony Stark. After having issues with Captain America and all of the rest, he came back at the end because he figured out how to defeat Thanos.
Yeah.
And ultimately for him, it meant, sacrificing himself.
It helps soften us to be able to go, actually, all right, maybe my son had a point with the way that he mows the lawn. Maybe the team actually does have some good insights.
Yeah.
But it's about letting that in and allowing that to be a part of your life. I find it hard to change my ways, even if someone's way is working better.
Yeah.
For the process of going from rock to sponge, how do you go from someone that just wants to shut out the world to someone that actually sees value in what people have to share?
You hit the nail on the head with something you said earlier, because qualify the information before you qualify the person. In Avengers, how Doctor Strange is, he's sitting there and his eyes is going crazy, like, and he's seeing like a million trillion different ways that the story can end.
Yeah.
I sit with information and I try my best to, picture how it would happen if I do follow these things.
Yeah.
I don't do it all the time, I know information about how, and I know what I need to do, but sometimes it's just like, can't be bothered doing it.
From what you're saying, because something that came to mind was a way through the rock, the hard to the soft and absorbent, is understanding what it is that you're wanting.
Yeah.
What I actually want is to become healthier. Qualifying the person means your information doesn't get past this wall. I hear things,
Yeah.
and then if I hear that same thing from someone that I actually like or someone that I've already qualified, then I let it in.
Yeah.
It's letting in all information, doing the Doctor Strange, thinking, cool, if I run this through a rubric or a process, what does it spit out?
Yeah.
If it spits out a good thing, now I have a ton load of good things, or heaps of water in my sponge instead of dripping off me like the rock. If you've worked on something for ages, done it a certain way and you haven't achieved it, go try this thing.
Yeah.
That might actually work. One thing I think with the humility is letting go of ego. Letting go of, this is my life.
Yeah.
I know what's best for me.
Yeah.
A lot of the information that's given isn't given out of malice or given out of hate or given out of you're an idiot, so take this information. It's actually like, oh no, I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Jordan, I see that you're trying to come out of having a break and win again.
Yeah.
But win at a higher level. So here's some information. Tony, you want to save the earth. We want to save the earth. Here's some information.
Yeah.
As someone that struggled with weight and health all my life. I get all the information.
Yeah.
What you should do is eat like this and this. Instead of looking at those as personal shots to me, but I look at it as information, then I can put it through that process that you have with Dr. Strange. You know, just, cool, is it going to help? Is it going to help? And now I've got a whole range of things that I can choose from.
I don't know if it was even, we set an alarm or something, but in my ear I said, ting! I was like, oh, it must be time.
I think it's time to set the table with you again.
Let's go.
Now the sugar and the cinnamon loosen something from within. Pass the plate, pass the love, hot cross buns and opening up. We were stubborn, now we're learning how to let each other.
Cuz man, these hot cross buns look incredible. I love the way that you've put them on the plate so nicely. They're just, you know, it's... Oh, I can't wait.
Which one do you like more? Are you a toasted or are you a ooey gooey?
To be honest, cuz I'm a deep fried, eh? I don't really have a preference. Thinking about today's, topic and our awesome in-depth, Talanoa that we've been able to have. What's something this week that you're going to try, and adapt?
Identifying where I am quite stubborn.
Yeah.
And then looking at what's stopping me from moving towards being that sponge.
I love that, cuz.
So what about yourself?
Qualify the information before you qualify the person. I'm on school holidays, so I know I'm going to be blasting my social media.
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking at that. And, I'm going to try and qualify what people are saying before I qualify the person.
That's a big one.
But nah, cuz always grateful for, our time together. Love breaking bread with you. Did you like that? Hey, did you like that? We want to thank you guys too for, all your input, your support of the podcast.
Where can they find us, cuz?
Oh, what a great question, cuz. Actually, you'll be able to find us on all of your streaming platforms. Over here, in all of these things here, you'll be able to find us. You'll be able to drop us messages on all of our social pages that you've seen as well.
So here's the encouragement that we have for you today. Think about things that you may be stubborn with and how you can go from being a rock to a sponge.
Thank you so much for watching us. But these hot cross buns, they're not waiting any longer. I'm Frank.
And I'm Neum.
And this is
Faith and Flames.